guys, I'm Brittany and this is my first discussion post, so let's get started. The first book that I want to talk about is the Classroom Management Essentials by Tracy Garrett. I have this little comic here that says, "Can you help me, Miss Martin? This wasn't covered in any of my education courses." We are fortunate enough that it is being covered and that this will be something that we hopefully won't have too many issues with in our own classrooms. For this book we had to read chapters 1 through 3. And so the quote that I found that really, I think, summarized everything that we read for this section was that classroom management is a process consisting of the following 5 key areas: organizing the physical design of the classroom, establishing rules and routines, developing caring relationships, implementing engaging and effective instruction, and addressing discipline issues. We only dive into the first one, organizing the physical design of the classroom, in the section that we read. But essentially, this is just kind of talking about what we can do to prevent problems from even happening in the classroom. Obviously, the last one of those key factors was discipline, but if the first 4 are effective enough, you really won't have that many disciplinary issues to begin with, and that's kind of the main idea of classroom management. So just for the physical design of the classroom, it's important that the students have a say in what their classroom looks like, because if you've ever been a student in a classroom, which you obviously have, you know how uncomfortable certain classrooms can feel, and sometimes you can't put your finger on why they're uncomfortable, but you just don't feel comfortable, which in turn leads to you really not being fully present in the class. And so we need to give our students a say in how the classroom is, which kind of empowers them, makes them part of the class, makes them a family, which kind of leads to dedication on their part. And so no matter what subject area we teach in, we need to make sure that our content is not only relevant, but it also takes into account what the students need in their lives, from rules and routines to physical design and layout, because that's important for some students. So that's kind of just the gist of classroom management. I'm sure once we dive in deeper into it, there'll be more to talk about. The next book that I want to talk about is What Should I Do? And I have here a picture that says Learn and Teach. So What Should I Do really was about advocating for your students and making sure that they have an active education where they're becoming these lifelong learners that you want them to be, because you don't want students to just be passive learners where they kind of just remember and then forget it once they take the test. You want them to be active learners, and you want to make sure that your students are the center of every decision you make, because ultimately they are who it affects directly. We need to make sure that students have stability in the classroom, because that really translates into how well they're going to perform in your class. Because if they have stability and they feel comfortable, they will feel more calm and at ease in your classroom. So really, What Should I Do is a great book in just kind of giving you these dilemmas and how you can meet them and how you can fix them. I really enjoyed that they brought in particular examples with specific teachers, because you never know, those could be things that we actually face in our professional careers, and we really just need to make sure that we recognize that everything that we do impacts our students. And then finally, the last book that we read was Teaching the Taboo, Courage and Imagination in the Classroom, and I thought that this book was fantastic. My favorite part of it was on page 39, where Diaz argues that in a world organized around competition, the act of reading is revolutionary. It creates compassion. It demands that we look at the world from the point of view of another. Moreover, reading creates human beings, as it undermines the narcissist myth that we are entirely awesome, that we always win, that we deserve all the stuff we have. It lets us recognize that we are vulnerable, flawed, contradictory, and petty. But in addition to making us face that, it reminds us that we are beautiful, worthy of love, and extraordinarily important. I thought this was fantastic. This quote really kind of encompasses everything that I want my students to realize when they're in my classroom. And so for this book, I have a little picture that says, "Warning, you must be able to think for yourself to read these books." Because really what Teaching the Taboo is all about is getting everybody out of this robotic industrial setting and making them creative, imaginative learners who are motivated and have personalized instruction that's just for them. We need to make sure that we're flexible for our students and also for ourselves, because we are also a work in progress. We're also learning and kind of growing with our students each year. And so we always need to just be looking for new methods and strategies to teach them, not shy away from any subjects that might be kind of touchy, but rather bring these to the forefront of the discussion in kind of a more respectful way. We need to go past just kind of like this obedient student, I guess you can say, to create these students that are creative, and so that way when they leave the public school system and become members of society, they aren't just these conformists, but rather these people who can think for themselves and make their own decisions based on what they know rather than what they're being told. So that's it for the first discussion. I'm really interested in these books, and I hope to dive more deeply into them and learn more from them. Thank you.